Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Academic officer. The academic officer's job is to ensure students are represented in their degrees and that they get the most out of their education from admission to graduation. This means they're responsible for championing academic issues across the university, advocating for students' interests in academic departments, and improving learning opportunities for students.
Hi, my name is Jintari and I'm joined by Hannah Zirpoli-Dawson, who is running to be academic officer. So I'd like to begin by asking you why you've chosen to run for this role.
I chose to run for academic officer mainly because I've been a department rep for the past 3 years as part of the action group pilot, and this year I've also been on academic committee. I really do enjoy going to the committees that are, even though that's not always the popular opinion. And I really feel passionate about empowering students, making sure they feel represented, supported. Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. So in your manifesto, one of your proposals that you mentioned is creating a new study space for students. And obviously at the moment we do have quite a few various study spaces like the library and the Piazza building on East. Why do you think a new study space is necessary?
It's mainly because of a project that was done in my department, which was a department-specific study space. So I do think that at the university currently, some departments will have department-specific study spaces, but others don't. And I think it would promote group work and helping students with things like peer-to-peer support if they have a space to go and study.
Okay. And you also, in your manifesto, you discuss and acknowledge the financial struggles that students are facing at the moment. Are there any sort of concrete plans or ideas that you'd like to campaign to introduce?
I mainly would like to look into the hidden financial costs, things that aren't at the forefront of departments' minds. A lot of lecturers don't seem to be very aware of hidden financial costs that students might face. Smaller things like lab coats. In my department, there was a big thing about calculators. Those smaller things that we don't necessarily think about.
And do you think that you have any sort of specific strategies for trying to convince the university to invest in some of these projects with the financial difficulties that the university is facing at the moment?
I think ultimately when you invest in students and make sure that they are able to go to their course and do their work, that's a student that's going to do well in their life in the future. It's an investment in the future. If students are struggling and are having to choose between eating for a week or, say, buying a calculator, that's going to be a negative investment for the university. We know how much it counts things like rankings, the NSS survey, and the University of York currently, it's going down in rankings, and that costs the university a huge amount of money. We see international students not wanting to come here anymore. So I do think that that's like a big argument for the university to maybe make smaller investments in things like lab coats, but that would make sure that students are able to do their degree.
Okay, fabulous. And do you think... And I think... Okay, so I think we're finishing up. Oh, sorry. Okay, so just to finish up, do you think there are any other barriers that students face in their studies?
Yeah, a big one in my manifesto is going to be about mental well-being, physical disabilities, and how that can affect a student. My biggest manifesto point actually is a learning support plan, which I've started on academic committee. I've tried to collect information from wellbeing officers on how to implement that. A lot of our processes support students.
Okay, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm very sorry. And we're going off to the next interview for James Driver for Academic Officer.
Academic Officer